2024 Penn State Football Media Day, live inside Haluba Hall as we get to meet and hear from the 2024 Nittany Lions as fall camp is underway, getting ready for this 2024 season, which begins on the road in Morgantown later this month. Brian Tripp, delighted to be with you once again here as we get ready. So much anticipation for this season. Penn State coming off another 10-win season last year and a berth in a New Year's Six bowl game. Obviously, so much has changed with the landscape in college football in the Big Ten this year, and so much anticipation around this 2024 season. So we'll be joined by student athletes throughout the course of about the next hour here from live inside Haluba Hall. And we begin our program today with the quarterback of the Nittany Lions, Drew Allar. Drew, this is old hat for you now. Welcome back. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.
As you go into your second season, handling the reins as the starting quarterback, can you think back to where you were this time last year and compare where you're at now to this time last season?
Yeah, obviously different system compared to last year, but I think my overall comfort in just playing the position has really grown a lot, and that's a really credit to Danny, who's been able to take over that quarterback room. I think for all of us in the quarterback room, like we feel like we've developed a lot. And he's done nothing but short of a great job for us in that room. And obviously having Coach Franklin and Coach K in that room has been super fun too. But for me personally, like I just feel a lot better being myself, I guess. I feel like I've taken that next step for my goal of being more of a vocal leader, and that's been like a point of emphasis for me going into this fall camp cycle. And I feel like I've done a great job so far. I just got to keep continuing to push that envelope for me.
That's one thing to say, but how do you go about developing a leadership skill? What are some of the things that you can work on behind the scenes so that way when you take the field with your teammates, you can be that voice in the huddle and on the field?
Yeah, honestly, I think the best thing, not only for me, but the whole offense, is we do more like unit meetings now, and Coach K, like, we called it developing leaders in spring, and now we're enabling leaders in the fall camp cycle. So like he has us get up and talk a lot more, and that's something that I've grown more comfortable with, talking in more of like a group setting, especially to my peers and teammates, and sharing the good and bad from practice. We got a we are not tape, so I ran that yesterday from day 2 of practice. So those little things, like, it may not seem like much, but it helps with just public speaking and confidence, and just projecting your voice to the team, and just getting your message across to the team, whatever it may be.
Let's talk about the coaching staff. You mentioned Danny O'Brien, the quarterback coach, obviously Coach Kotelnicki as well. As he comes in, the terminology, the language, the playbook, what goes into acclimating yourself with a new system and a playbook like that?
Yeah, I think the staff did a really good job. When Coach K was first hired here, he brought an assistant along with him too from Kansas. So the whole offensive staff really sat down together and talked through what Kansas called certain plays and what we called certain plays. And as many times as we could translate his plays to our verbiage, the easier it was for us. And that was their goal. And honestly, with Coach K's system, there's a lot more family groupings, I would say. So that kind of makes it easier. Like, once you understand, like, why he calls certain plays, like the name of the play, it's easier to like understand the why behind it and the purpose behind the play. So that was really cool, like kind of just learning a different system. Obviously everybody has a different system, so it's kind of cool to learn the ins and outs and maybe like stuff you like and don't like. And obviously, like, I watch a bunch of NFL tape with Danny and just by myself, and kind of learning a bunch of different things, and it's cool to be able to implement it into our system right now.
Any particular quarterbacks you're watching in the NFL when you sit down with Danny, or is it a whole gamut of quarterbacks in the NFL?
There's a lot, but I really love watching, obviously, like Josh Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, and honestly, like, there's a lot of West Coast teams. I love watching Matt Stafford. Like, I think he's one of the more underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL, not even from his time in, obviously, Los Angeles, but when he was in Detroit. Like, that guy's just a baller. It's fun watching him play and just do a bunch of things that a lot of guys don't have the guts to do in game, and just seeing how tough he is.
Were you a Browns fan, Bengals fan? What were you growing up?
I'm a huge Cleveland Browns fan, still am. So yeah, so I had season tickets growing up. So section 111, row 4, seats 7 and 8.
You're talking about Danny. I can see you smile when you talk about him. Why do you relate so well to him as a coach and as a mentor?
I think it's just his personality. Like, I think he's able to really connect with everybody in our room. Obviously, we all have different personalities, and that's how everybody is on the team in every position group. And Danny's able to, relay messages to different people certain ways, and he's also able to teach quarterbacks in different ways. Like, I don't learn the same as Grunk, I guess, is like an easy example. Since he's a freshman and I'm now in my 3rd year, like, we're just at different learning paces, and that's natural. Like, when I first came in, I was definitely behind Cliff. So it's like, definitely like those things. And I think that's what makes him like elite for us, is like he's able to connect the dots in so many different ways for us.
Is it weird to say that you're in your third year already? Has it sunk in as to where you are in your college football career now?
No, it hasn't yet. I'm sure like when we end camp, like this is crazy that really technically it's my 6th camp between spring ball and fall camp already. So it's kind of crazy to, it feels like I just got here like really last year. So it's definitely flown by.
Because you've been through camps before, where does this one compare? Where the team's at, the vibe, just the energy in the locker room coming in?
Yeah, I think we're in a really good place. From an offensive standpoint, like we're at a really good spot right now. I think, we took the summer to really get better and be intentional with getting better, specifically in the pass game, because summer it's hard to get a lot better in the run game just because you're not in pads, obviously. Pass game, you can make it as good as you want to be. So I think we did a great job of, in the summer, being very intentional of what we wanted to work each day when we had routes on air. And, I think that's where I got comfortable being more of a vocal leader, honestly, is just running those sessions. And, the receivers did a phenomenal job of just showing up every day ready to work. Same with the tight ends and running backs. Like, we have a lot of talent on this team. And I think one of the things that is going to be different about us this year, that we're going to have a lot more different personnel groupings together. Like, you're going to see a lot more unique formations, unique plays, and I think it's just to get the ball to our best players and get them touches.
You spoke about throughout the course of the spring, throughout the course of the offseason, about how much you respect and you like that wide receiver group that you have. You feel like it can be an elite room. What have you seen as you develop that chemistry with them that gives you that trust to say, hey, this is a really good group we have right here?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, they're a super talented group. There's no question about that. But this year, like, just the commitment between all of them, I think they really held each other to a high standard. Obviously, Coach Hagan's second year as a full-time coach here, and he's been nothing short of amazing for that receiving group. I love being around him and his whole family. So he's a really good, positive guy for that room. And I think, really with Julian, Trey, and Liam, like, just being older in that room, they're the older guys in that room, like, really taking the young guys along. And I think it's been really cool to watch, like, see Amari's development. Like, he's had a really good start to camp. Same with Caden. So it's been really cool to see those guys' development.
How happy were you to have Tyler back again?
He's definitely super excited. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Warren's like old reliable for us. Yeah.
And then the last question for you, because you're actually going to hand the microphone off to Katron and Nicholas here in just a moment. Those guys, they're over there smiling. They're getting ready to go. They're all warmed up. What do they bring to the team? Not only their skill set on the field, but like their personality around the team as well, because they're pretty vibrant guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many people know that about them, but they're a fun duo to be around for sure. Like, it's fun being around them every day. And, my man Katron over there may not like talking today, but he'll talk a lot in the locker room.
I was just reading, well, we'll get to that with Katron. Why don't you take that mic? We'll get Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen to come over. We'll get one of the first handoffs on camera of the season. I'll run down here and get the other one for these guys. And we'll get them on in here. What's up? All right, we got Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen taking the mic from Drew Allar here on Media Day Live 2024 inside Haluba Hall. Gentlemen, welcome back. I just said the first question I asked Drew was, you've been through this a time or two before now. Where are you at, and what's the energy around the team as you go into this camp, having been around a team and in a locker room going into camps before?
Yeah, this year the camp's been really good so far. These last 2 days, everybody's been working hard. A lot of young guys getting a lot of reps, man. So everybody's been doing really good so far. You just can't wait for the season.
Katron, you're a physical runner. Pads go on today. How much are you looking forward to that?
I've been looking forward to putting on pads for real. I can't wait. I just want to continue to get better each and every day for real.
When you hear Drew talk about what you bring to the team, obviously your versatility, your skill on the field, but also what you bring to the locker room with your personalities as well. What do you think when you hear your quarterback talking to you about, or talking about you like that?
Nah, Drew's been really good, man. He's a funny guy. He brings energy too on the field too and off the field too. That locker room, we go inside, like, it's a whole family. Like, everybody's there for each other. We all laughing with each other, so it's just a whole family atmosphere.
Katron, how would you compare the locker room you have right now to past season? What makes this group really tight going into 2024?
I mean, it ain't really no difference, but it's a big difference because everybody come together, everybody communicate with each other, and everybody listen to each other. So by doing that, it just make us tighter, like, throughout the team for real.
Yeah, and Drew was talking about being a vocal leader as the quarterback. I know Bo's got great leadership back there as well in that whole room, but Drew was talking about being a more vocal leader going into his third season. How have you seen that from him so far?
I seen him make a big step and a big improvement of doing that. He been talking more, communicating more, getting everybody together, do one like routes on air, things like that. So it's been big for us.
What was important throughout the course of the off season to continue to develop your game? Where did you try to improve the most during the months between spring football and when you got back here for camp?
For me, everything, really just running as a player, running with the football, blocking too, most importantly, and really catching out the backfield. Like K-Tron was saying, like we've been out in the field like all this time, working with the receivers, running routes, just doing different stuff that versatile my game.
K-Tron, same question. Where have you worked to improve the most during the offseason?
Just like routes, doing little things like stretching, doing certain routes on air, and just trying to get better on each and every part of my game, not just focus on one thing. So every aspect I try to work on for real to get better on.
What do you like about the way that Coach Kotelnicki has talked about utilizing running backs in this offense and the scheme and the system going into this season?
What I like is
without giving away secrets here.
Yeah, for sure. What I like is that we can do more things just being in the backfield. We can be outside, you feel me, anywhere for real. Just being you feel me, just doing everything on the field.
For me, yeah, it's just being versatile, not playing just in the backfield, doing different spots, me in the slot, being where the tight ends be at, even times with the receivers too. Just to be in complete back, just to work on, again, catching the ball out the backfield, too.
And we were talking about your personality. I don't know if this still rings true, K-Tron, but I was reading your bio on the website, and it said you like to sing. Is that true?
I don't know where they get that from. I don't like to sing.
You might need to reach out and have that updated then. I just wanted to check on that. What did you guys, away from the football field in the offseason, what were you able to do? To relax, or was it football 24/7, 365?
Really football. For real. You really don't get no off days, but you still want to keep developing your game, on off the field, film work, on the field doing like simple footwork and all that, just try to stay healthy.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most about getting back out there with the team? Obviously starting the road in Morgantown, but at Beaver Stadium in front of all the fans this year.
Just to have another opportunity to get better, to play against somebody else, not just our defense. So just to get that opportunity to play the game that I love for real and get to see my mom in the crowd, you feel me? That's when, you feel me? And we'll get the win, I feel like.
I bet it gets tiring going against a defense this good every day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
Guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Nicholas Singleton, K-Tron Allen going into their junior seasons. Excellent running backs here for the Penn State football team. We're going to shift gears and talk defense next with KJ Winston.
Sure.
Did he take a shot? That's really good coverage from Kevin Winston. This is one of those guys they feel like can be the next great safety at Penn State. Got it off, and it's incomplete. Big time shot there. Winston will throw. It's intercepted. KJ Winston with the pick.
Just watch some highlights there from KJ Winston from last season, his sophomore season, as he goes into his junior year here at safety for Penn State. And the first thing you notice in those highlights, he's wearing 21 this year. He's wearing number 2. So KJ, why did you switch to number 2?
Yeah, so I wore number 2 in high school, and that's my main number 1 to go single digit. I originally got 21 for Sean Taylor, and all respect to him, rest in peace to him. To me, one of the greatest safeties of all time. And to a lot of people probably, but no disrespect to him, no diss to him, changing it. I'm still rolling with that, that motto and everything. So it was just mainly because I wore it in high school and I wanted to go for that single digit.
And the single digit looks clean, it looks fresh. You're a single digit guy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your secondary going into this season. I think a lot of people have talked about, and I know it's just noise from outside the walls of Haluba Hall and the Lash football building, about how talented this group is. Inside those walls, what type of room, what type of secondary do you think this team has?
Yeah, a lot of people, when you have great players go out each year, at Penn State we always have year after year great corners, great safeties. You wonder what's going to be next year. Are we weak in that area? But I say, I start with the corners. I was going to safeties last, but I start with the corners. We're deeper than we ever been with the corners. We can go out with three different teams and have 2 sets of corners to go out there and play.
Yeah. And
then when it comes to safety, we have coming out with 3 safety look now. All 3 Zaki, Jay Reed, me, we already do what we do out there, and Zaki he's going to show a lot this year, and y'all going to see a lot from him. And then, we got these young guys that I'm going to let them show you guys. I'm not going to speak too much on them just yet, but I'm going to let them show you what they're about. But it's looking real good.
Yourself with Jalen Reed and obviously Zaki Wheatley, who just talked about, why do you all complement each other and give Coach Allen, give Coach Poindexter the versatility in the secondary to utilize those skill sets in a different way to make it tough on an offense that's trying to game plan against your defense?
I think it's the relationship we have off the field and how we compete with each other, healthy competition. You know, there's no real hate, nobody's really envying each other, you know, comparing themselves to each other. We're always trying to better each other in every moment. So when you have that kind of relationship, it's easy to go out there and, you know, talk to each other on the field. That's the easy part. So once you get that down, it's like we're just out there in the backyard like we were with kids, having fun playing the game. So you get that down, it makes the game so much more easy and so much more fun, and that's how, you know, you make plays, and that's how you want it to be.
We talked about it on the offensive side of the football with Drew, and we just heard Coach Franklin in his press conference earlier today that you could catch on gopsusports.com and our social media channels as well. He was talking about the voices and the leadership on the football team. Yourself now going into your junior season, having played a big role last season. Where are you as a leader, and where do you feel like your voice is at in that secondary as someone to help from the back end?
Yeah, I think I'm in a great point as a leader. You know, I speak up when I need to. I don't like to be, you know, talk all the time just to hear myself talk. I like to make sure I'm speaking when it's time to speak. And,
People
you know,
say I do that, just so you know.
Yeah, I like to make sure I speak when it's time to speak. And I've been focused on the young guys a lot lately, making sure they understand how to, you know, how football is supposed to be played at Penn State, talking about our safety room, how we're supposed to play football and things like that. And then, you know, just being honest with the guys that, you know, guys that are older than me, same age as me. When something doesn't look right, letting them know, and then when it looks good, making sure also they know that, you know, they're doing the right thing. So just being real with everybody and building relationships with everybody. I try to speak to everybody on the team when I get the chance to.
Just because you started with it, I know someone at home is watching right now saying, please ask him about A.J. Harris and Jalen Kimber, because you talked about the cornerbacks, newcomers that Penn State fans haven't had a chance to see yet. Just initial scouting report, what have you seen from them?
Sure, I give it to you straight. They're some dogs. You know, that's what you would expect. You know, both of them lock down corners, not afraid to hit. So they're the perfect corners you can get, and I'm glad. I'm blessed we got to have them in our program.
You mentioned something as well about development and growth and having guys, you know, in that secondary here before you, Jair Brown. You can, the list goes on, Keaton Ellis, the list goes on and on at that safety spot. How important, though, was it? I think Coach Franklin does a really good job of this, of making sure you're getting meaningful reps as a freshman, obviously bigger role last year, but as a freshman, so you get that on-field experience, then can apply it to your training during the offseason. How important is that?
I think it's very important, you know, with games, you know, having young guys. I say for me personally, that my freshman year I was able to get, you know, certain downs, even if it's, you know, crunch time, not crunch time, if it's, you know, late in the game, we're up by a lot. Those reps are very meaningful. You're on the field regardless of what the score is. You're still getting reps and getting those mental reps, and it's good for a young guy to get that out the way, because you don't want, you know, to come out there and then get thrown in the fire and then not understand how to do things. So I feel like that was great. And then because I was getting all those reps throughout the season, when it came to Rose Bowl and Jalen Reed went down, I was already ready. This was nothing new. You know, football is football, and I learned that early on when I went out there in them times, and then I was ready to play then. And in that moment, I think that's what allowed me to, you know, just that whole growth going through and understand how the games go allowed me to come into my sophomore season, you know, be ready to play. Yeah,
do you feel like you were at that at the beginning of your sophomore year, or was there some point where it really clicked, where that half a step on the football field where instincts and trust just take over? When did that transformation, because we saw all the big plays you were making last year, 60 tackles led the team, all over the field making plays. When did it click where instincts just took over and you trusted yourself and the defense that you were in?
Yeah, I think coming in I had the confidence of knowing that I can go out there and play, but I don't think I trusted myself fully just yet at the first couple games. You know, it's my first college game.
Yeah.
It's at Penn State. You know, it's new. So first couple games I was timid. I wasn't trusting my first steps and everything. But I think after like the third or fourth game, probably that Illinois game, when that game hit, that's when I started really trusting myself and knowing like I can make plays out here. You know, if I just trust what I see, I can make the plays. And then as it just kept going and going, you know, I feel like the more I played, the more different schemes I seen, you know, it just allowed me to play more confident, more fast, and that's what allowed me to make more plays.
Last one, we'll let you get out of here. You just mentioned that you felt that transition. As you talk to the young guys that you were just talking about, how do you help them make that transition themselves so it's as fast and as smooth as possible?
Try to tell them in practice, you know, trust yourself in practice. You know, you're not going to expect to make interceptions if you don't make them in practice. You know, that's what Coach Dex tells us all the time. Go make the plays in practice so you know you can make them in the game. And for them to jump that step that I had to, you know, go through and understand in the game. I can try to get what I'm trying to do right now is have them understand that in practice. So as soon as they get on the field, they're already making plays from the moment they get out there. So that's my main thing. Just building their confidence. That's the biggest thing when we play football, and I want them to have the most confidence ever.
KJ, have a great season.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you.
KJ Winston joining us here on Media Day Live 2024. He's going to pass the microphone right off to number 0, Dominic DeLuca, coming in, Penn State linebacker. We continue on that defensive side of the football. Dom, we were just talking to KJ about the defense and the anticipation going into the year. Also today, the anticipation about putting pads on for the first time. How much are you looking forward to it, and what can we learn as pads start to go on and you guys ramp up here in camp?
Oh, I'm so excited to put pads on. I mean, it's so much different than wearing the spiders. I mean, now we actually get to hit. We actually get to be physical at the point of attack, and just being able to do that and see what the freshmen are about too, and I'm just excited.
When you look at this defense, and we're going to talk special teams as well, obviously wearing the number 0 for your role there, but when you look at the defense and what Coach Allen brings not only to the entire defense, but your room specifically, how would you describe the transition to what he's been able to bring here, not only through the spring, but the summer, but now the comfortability going into the fall?
I mean, just learning the way he calls plays and what he calls certain techniques. I mean, that was the biggest change I really say. But other than that, I mean, just learning the game, how he sees the game, and he is understanding like his calls and what he simplifies for us, and his post-snap keys and even his pre-snap keys has been helping me play faster.
You mentioned how he sees the game. How would you interpret how he sees the game right now, and what can fans expect from the Penn State defense as they step on the field?
I mean, he's like being aggressive. He's also wants to make sure we're in the right spot at the right time, and he's putting us in those positions to make plays, to make those big plays when we're called.
Well, we were talking about this on the offensive side with Coach K and Danny O'Brien with Drew, but it seems like on the defensive side, and then we'll talk special teams with Coach Lustig, Coach Allen, they're big relationship guys, and they came in. It seems like there's a real. Sometimes, you know, you have to learn what makes them tick, and they learn the same thing about you. How did you go about forming those relationships with them, and where do you feel like that page is at? Do you feel like you're on the same page as you hit camp here?
I'd most definitely say we are on the same page. I mean, going to dinner with Coach Allen every once in a while. Me and Tyler Ellison would go with him sometimes. Sometimes it'd be just one-on-one, and just building that bond and relationship with him. And it's awesome. I mean, just learning how he grew up and where he's from, and just like his life. And even with Coach Lustig, just going up to do extra meetings with him and talk game plan and talk schemes, and just my expectations for the season and his expectations for me for the season.
All right, what are some of the expectations that you have for the season? See, this is natural
Exactly.
transition here. What are some?
Just like making that big play, making that pump block, either field goal block, anything to get us to that next level and make a big play.
What's more, this is a really challenging question because we saw the pick 6 last year against Delaware, you know, the 2 punt blocks that you've had in your career. Special teams, it feels like it's far and few between the opportunities to make a big play. What's more rewarding? One on defense or one on special teams? I know all 3 elements, offense, defense, special teams, all important, but what big play during your career have you enjoyed the most? I know there's special meaning between you and the pick 6 too, because of where you ran it back.
Exactly, yes. But doing a pump block in the whiteout, like you can't beat that. I mean, just hearing that crowd like roar, it was such a surreal feeling. I mean, growing up a Penn State fan and now making that play in the whiteout, it's like, wow, like I'm here. Like it was very surreal for me.
As you go into your redshirt junior season, you know, you reflect on your journey. You started as a walk-on. You were the D-squad player of the year. Then you were the walk-on of the year, and then special teams MVP of the team last season. How would you describe the journey that you've had to the point that you're at now here at Penn State?
I mean, if you told me this in 2020 that I would be a special teams captain, I would have told you were crazy. But just keeping my head down and working, and just trying to show the standard of wearing number 0 and even committing to special teams, and even just showing what walk-ons, like you just need that one opportunity to show them what you can do and how you could play.
You've been a part of some really special teams, some really special defenses, some really good special teams units here. What is it about this group that gives you the confidence that not only you can replicate that success, but even go beyond it as we head into this new era of college football this fall?
I would say offense, defensively, and even on special teams, everyone is bought in. I mean, just the energy we get even for special teams. I mean, not everyone gets excited for special teams, but the whole team is excited to go through special teams, learn it, and even learn the schemes and how they can make a play, and even if it's on special teams rather than offense or defense.
Stash is looking good. Is that the best one on the team? Who's the top competition?
Definitely. Tyler Ellison says it's him, but it's most definitely me. I only bring it out once in a while, so that's why.
And everyone with the shaved head pretty much going into camp. What was behind that?
So I forget what it was, but me, Tyler, and Nick Dawkins were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to shave my head and do a mustache, and they all got behind it. I mean, Elsden and Doc went a little further than me. I didn't have that much confidence in dyeing my hair, but I think they look great. I mean, I love Tyler Elsden's. That's a true grit right there.
What did your mom say when you sent her a picture?
My mom said I looked like a 5-year-old me with a stash because I used to do a buzz cut all the time. So she's trying to look for a picture of me with the buzz.
Yeah, if she gets that, Riri, can you please send that to our show? Tweet it in right now. We'll take that. We'll put that up on our live stream. Dom, really appreciate it. Great stuff as always. Have a great season. Thanks so much for your time. Let's take a look at that Penn State football schedule going into the 2024 Penn State football season at West Virginia to start to wrap up the month. Then the home games against Bowling Green and Kent State. The new look Big Ten and the Big Ten schedule begins with Illinois, homecoming here at Beaver Stadium, UCLA, and then on the road for a couple of games. 2 bye weeks in there this year as well, at USC, at Wisconsin, and then home against Ohio State and Washington. So yes, UCLA, USC, and Washington all joining the Big Ten and officially joining the Big Ten just the other night at midnight as we turned the calendar to August 1st. And we are staying with that LBU. Kobe King is with us now here on set. And Kobe, we were just talking to Dom about the defense, the potential this year, and the identity that Coach Allen has brought to the team as well. How would you describe the identity that Coach Allen has brought to that defense so far?
I would describe the identity as just being hungry and motivated every day, really, because we got a lot of guys that want to go out and take people's heads off. So we know we just got to tame our energy towards one thing, attack every day. So that's what we're doing.
When you talk about that attack mentality, we saw that no matter who's the defensive coordinator, I think it's something Coach Franklin really enjoys seeing from his defenses, that ability to make big plays on both sides of the football. We saw throughout the course of last season, you starting to make more and more big plays as the year went on.
Right.
Where do you feel like your comfort level was at to start the year, where it was at to end the year, and now where you are going into another season of Penn State football?
I think my comfort level started off kind of fair for the season. Started off, getting the first game out the way. But as the season go on, I just pride myself on getting better every day and taking the small baby steps to help me get to where I want to go. But I just think it's just me focusing on getting better every day and trying to help my teammates get better every day. And it definitely made the team better and myself better.
When you look at the tradition of linebackers here, have very fortunate to work on the radio with Steve Jones and Jack Ham. And Jack Ham talks about you as one of the best form tacklers that he has seen. Where'd you learn that skill set, and how much work have you put in to make sure if that guy's coming towards you, he's not getting away?
Actually, not a lot of people know this. I used to wrestle, so that definitely helped me out.
You're at
with
the right
football.
school.
And I thought about wrestling coming here too, though. But I would say wrestling kind of just helped me learning how to get people on the ground and just wrap people up, basically. So shout out to wrestling, because without wrestling, I don't think I would have been here for real.
You know, when Micah Parsons was here, he went into the wrestling room a couple of times. Have you ever asked, hey, Coach Sanderson, can I come over and check it out or roll around with it? And Aaron Brooks or someone over there in that wrestling room?
I actually had a dinner with some wrestlers, and we was like conversating. We was gonna get some work in with them, but we just never happened. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting on that mat and testing my skills out.
Well, we also saw a couple of days ago on social media your brother Kalen. I mean, right after Jordan Love got that contract, he picked sixth him in practice. Have you talked to Kalen? How are things going for him?
I definitely talked to him. Things going great. He's focused right now. He's locked in, and he's taking it day by day. But the thing about him, he's a guy that's going to attack it and take advantage of his opportunity. That's really it. But he's definitely taking advantage of it, and he's locked in out there.
Having played together your whole careers, is it weird not having him in the locker room with you this year?
Yeah, I would say it's a little weird, but my guys, my guys love me, and they kind of keep me sane. But yeah, it's definitely weird a little bit.
What is special about that linebacker group that you have? Obviously, yourself, Dom DeLuca, Tyler Elsden, you're the veterans. Tony Rojas, what kind of step can he make in year 2?
He can make a big step for us, and he needs to make a big step for us. But I think the guys in the room bring the best out of each other every day. We hold each other to the highest standard possible, and we just want the best for each other and ourselves, really, because we out there with each other. It's Mike, Will, Sam. We all got to know what we're doing, be on the same page, and so we can all excel.
Well, I know that Coach Allen and Coach Franklin have talked about Abdul Carter and his versatility in the defense this year, and just to make it a nightmare on opposing offenses. What type of player is he, and because of that versatility, what does he bring to the defense?
He's the type of player that he wants to be right. That's one big thing that I learned about him through these years. He always wants to be right. He wants to get better, and he wants to compete at the highest level. But I think that him making that transition is good for the team, good for him, and they're going to have to watch out because we got some guys.
You guys got some guys, certainly on that defense, and it's always important on the defense to set the tone, set the foundation for a game. And it seems like, Coach Franklin likes that as well. Put that defense out there first. When you guys are on the field setting the tone for the game, what are some of the things that go through your mind?
I think it's really just us all being connected and us bonding the way we do. But I think we approach practice, meetings, weight room, lifting session the same way, and we just try to attack everything, really, because we always want to be the best. And as a defense, we have to be the best. So that's what it is.
And that defense has been one of the best in the country every year that you've been here, Kobe. Last question. Did you get a chance to get away at all during the offseason? Anything you did in your free time during the offseason that fans at home may want to learn about you, know about you? What did you do in your spare time?
Me, sometimes I like to get away and go out and travel, but I'm a guy that I like my solitude a lot. I like to stay in my solitude and develop a mind state and, just have time to myself to, collect my thoughts and build. But, yeah, I'm a solitude guy. I like to be lonely sometimes, but people love me, so they always around me. That's really it.
It's like, hey, can you go away now? I've had enough of this.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to be by myself, but, yeah.
Kobe, really appreciate it. Looking forward to another great season with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
We're going to go back to the offensive side of the football. You can hand it off. Tyler Warren, tight ends, going to come in here right now and join us on Media Day Live 2024. Appreciate everyone joining us here as Tyler Warren, big guy, comes on to our set. You can see his head was cut off camera a little bit. Senior season, obviously so much talk going into this year about the potential of the offense and yourself coming back for another year. Where do you feel like that potential is for the offense coming into this season?
Yeah, I think it's really as high as we want it to be. We came in with a new OC and Coach K. He took a great approach when he first came in. I think we all really welcomed him in, and just sticking to his plan and sticking together as an offense is really going to be important coming into this camp.
Yeah, I asked Drew the same question right at the top of our show here today, and we appreciate everyone tuning in wherever you're watching from. More than 1,000 people in our audience today. A little pressure on here, not only for you but for the host. But you look at what Coach K brings to this offense. What was the process of not only you learning about him and his system, but a really good coach, and I know you've had that here during your entire career at Penn State, learns the strengths of his team and the personality of those guys in that offense as well. So what was the back and forth, that get-to-know-you factor between the two of you, not only on the field and the skill set, but off the field as well?
Yeah, I think it really just, it starts with just getting around him, eating lunch with him in the nutrition bar, stuff like that, kind of away from football, just to get to know each other. And then obviously when it's time to practice, whether it's just a walkthrough, a jog through, or practice, it's just kind of being yourself and showing what you can do. And that's something he does really well, is knowing what guys do well and using those and not trying to make them do things that's not their strong suit. So I think that's been really important for us so far, and it's gone really well.
You mentioned the nutrition bar. I hear the new training table is pretty nice that you've been able to have so far through camp. Food, training table. Tell the audience about what the team now has available, just steps away from the locker room.
Yeah, so it's in the building now, and it's we got new chefs they just hired, and they've been doing a really good job, and they love what they're doing. So we appreciate it a lot, and it's three meals a day right now with camp going on. So it's been really good, and we really appreciate it.
Favorite meal so far that you've had? I know it's only a couple of days. Favorite meal so far?
They had some brisket the other night, which I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. That was pretty good.
What is your favorite food to eat?
I like Mexican. I'm a big Mexican food guy.
All right. That's a good choice. I like that as well. A lot of options in State College as well. You talk about the offense and the tight ends and the ability to be versatile in this offense. It's a deep room when you look at Khalil Dinkins, and the list goes on some of those freshmen from last year taking the next step. How would you describe the room that you have, and who's impressed you among the other tight ends?
Yeah, obviously we have somewhat of a younger experience-wise room, and not a lot of guys that have played a whole lot. Dink got his feet wet last year, getting reps in the games, and I think he'll have a big role this year. And I think Andrew Rappelier has been a guy in camp and in spring who's impressed the whole team, and he'll have a big role. And I think Jerry Cross is a guy that's gotten a lot better since his first 3 years here. And Joey and Luke are two younger guys that have been doing really well too. So it's a deep room with a lot of talent. So there'll be a lot of guys fighting for playing time. It's not a bad thing to be in a room like that. So it's only going to make us better as a tight end group.
Yeah, and obviously competing is really important to this program. I'll be honest, when I saw Luke walk in the building for the first time, I'm like, that's a freshman? That's a big guy for a freshman right there. Do you remember where you were at when you first walked into the Lash building? And is it kind of crazy to see that transition to where you are now?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a cheat because I had like 2 months of no school because I had COVID going on, so I had some time to train. So I was maybe a little bit bigger than Luke when he got here, but he's done a great job with his weight, focusing on, getting up in the physical area because everyone's going to come in a little undersized as a freshman. But he's embraced it, and he's doing really well, and I think he's going to be a great tight end.
You mentioned COVID, 5th season of college football. You've been around so many great ones here at Penn State. Pat Fryermuth, Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, teammate last year. Great tag team duo there at the tight end position. What is it about the room? Coach Howell obviously plays a big role in this, but what is it about Penn State and the success that tight ends have continued to have here, no matter who's the quarterback at the helm, no matter what the OC is? Tight ends have always been successful.
Yeah, I think it starts with the guys that we bring in. I think, Coach Howell and looks for a certain type of guy that's willing to do a little bit of everything, not just one part of it. And I think it comes down to the mentality he instills in us, and it's, being physical in the run game, being threats in the passing game, and it's just guys that are willing to help the offense as a whole. We're not really looking to be the star players, and we're not worried about, how many catches we get. It's really just whatever the offense needs week to week, and we're happy to do it, and we know it's only going to help the offense and the team get to where we want to be.
Describe playing for Coach Franklin. We didn't talk about him a ton here. We're trying to get to know each of the guys that we've had on the show, but Coach Franklin, 11th year now at Penn State. You've been around him a long time. Describe playing for Coach Franklin.
Yeah, I think, what y'all see is just a little glimpse. He's got the energy all the time, and it's even off the cameras. He's got the same type of energy. He's always going to be there. I know I can call him if I need something. He's going to answer his phone, stuff like that, outside of football. And then on here, he's gonna be honest. He expects a lot out of us, but that's why he come to a place like Penn State to play for the best and compete at the highest level. So it's really, it's a big reason I came here, and I think I made the right choice.
Well, you've spent a lot of time on the microphone, in front of the lights, in front of the camera lately. You went to Big Ten Media Day in Indianapolis. Cool experience. You got to go to St. Elmo's, right?
Yep, it was good. It was
good dinner? It was a good dinner. What else did you get to do during the off season? I know you're kind of an outdoorsman. What did you do during your free time to unwind when you weren't training for football?
I was mostly golfing with a lot of the teammates. We did a lot of golf this year. I shot a 87 was my best round. So
all right.
It was improvement from last summer, so that was my big off training thing.
Where do you compare among your other teammates? Who's the best? Who are the best? If you could put an ideal foursome together to go out on a golf course, who are the other 3 guys you're playing with?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm picking, my original golf group was me, Dom DeLuca, Bo Perbula, and Liam Clifford, which they're all good. We're pretty much like the same skill type. The best golfer is Sander. He's like in a plus handicap now, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So he's definitely the best.
I want accuracy from a kicker. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
A kicker being accurate is a really good thing.
Usually going to be good at golf.
Especially, it translates really well.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, we appreciate the time. Good luck this season. Thanks so much, as always.
Appreciate it.
Tyler Warren joining us here to wrap up our interviews on Media Day Live 2024. Let's run through the game themes for the 2024 Penn State football season. Again, the home schedule starts in week number 2. Bowling Green comes to town on September 7th. And as you can see, all the great themes for this 2024 Penn State football season: Military Appreciation Day against Kent State. The Big Ten opener is against Illinois. It is at home, the Big Ten opener against Illinois. It is also homecoming, obviously, UCLA, Ohio State, Washington. Some great themes and some great appearances, some great visuals. Beaver Stadium going to look good and be rocking. And then for Maryland, Senior Day to wrap up the regular season. Maryland here at Beaver Stadium as well. So that wraps up our coverage from Media Day 2024, live here from inside Haluba Hall. The Penn State football season is here. Training camp, already 2 practices in the books. Today, the team puts on pads for the very first time. As always, you can go to Penn State football's social media channels to follow more about the team, learn more about the team, get those exclusive looks behind the scene as they get ready for the season. More coverage of Media Day 2024 available there as well. It's hard to believe, less than a month away from kickoff in Morgantown against West Virginia. The team looks to go 1-0 against the Mountaineers. Thanks to all of our guests today, and thanks, of course, to you at home for tuning in. Our crew did an awesome job once again, led, of course, by Ross Woomer back there and Ron Fontaine handling the notes here on set once again as well. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long from Haluba Hall. Thanks for tuning in to Media Day 2024.